I did 10 squats every 45 minutes for an 8.5 hour window for a whole month. Here's my results. So stay tuned to the end of this video because I am modifying my carnivore diet this month, and I think I'm going to keep this up for 3 months, and it's something that's relatively easy and simple to do. So I'm going to be talking about that near the end of the video. Hey, what's shaking bacon? I hope you're doing well. So I started a squat challenge. And the reason why I started this squat challenge was I was finally able to start doing more after my surgery. I had surgery. I literally couldn't do really anything for 2 months. I had a big scar down my leg, scar on my chest, and scar down my arm. And the scar on my chest I had complications with. And while that was healing, at least my leg scar was healed. So I could start being active and I could start doing squats. So the nice thing about this, the reason why I did that challenge is it was there to help manage blood sugar dysregulation. And I have perfect blood sugar as a carnivore. Every time I ever went carnivore before I became a strict carnivore, within a week or two, boop, blood sugar was perfect. It was really nice. But I've learned since almost the very beginning, I have high fasting insulin. And I didn't realize how much of an issue it was until 2.5 years ago when I got my fasting insulin tested. I got my doctor to check it because I just hit a weight stall and I wasn't losing any more weight. I had already lost 165 pounds, but for some reason, the rest of the weight just wasn't coming off. That explains it. You can't lose weight when your fasting insulin is really high, or just your insulin in general. Even though my blood sugar and A1C are perfect, that's been the issue. So I thought, you know what? This is an interesting study that came out a few months ago about doing 10 squats every 45 minutes for an 8.5 hour window, that it tested better than people who were doing a half-hour walk a day when it came to managing blood sugar. Manage your blood sugar and your insulin's going to just typically calm down. There's clearly something else going on in my body, keeping my insulin very high. The way it works in Canada is I believe for insulin, we check with millimoles. Something around 155 is the high-end cutoff where they want your insulin to be. And whenever I've had it checked, I'm at like 250, give or take a little bit. And that's on a strict zero-carb carnivore diet. So it's like, okay, what the heck's going on here? Because just from the diet alone, that should be managed. Now, in all fairness, before I became carnivore, I conditioned my body to use sugar as a fuel source like it was my job. If there's one thing I had, it was a bad sugar addiction mixed with a large appetite. So I didn't just have some ice cream. I had a lot of ice cream. I mean, I'd have like 3 pints of Haagen-Dazs. And that was whenever I had ice cream. I wasn't satisfied with just a normal serving or even seconds of a normal serving. That was just a tease. That's where that sugar addiction was coming in. And you combine that with a large appetite. And that's how I initially got up to 465 pounds. You know, you do that long enough and you know, you're going to have heart issues, which I eventually did. So back to this challenge I started doing for the month of July, even though I had complications with the scar in my chest healing slow, sort of opened up like a zipper. I did nothing to really justify that. I think the dissolvable stitches just dissolved too early for me. And something that I noticed when I started doing the squat challenge, even though I wasn't measuring my blood sugar, I wasn't doing anything to see if anything was different, because my blood sugar is always perfect doing carnivore. So doing this squat challenge wouldn't really have any reflection in my blood sugar, because the only way I get high blood sugar on a carnivore diet is if I do an intense workout. This isn't designed to be an intense workout. It's a workout, not really a workout. It's just activity throughout the day to use up the sugar in your body all throughout the day. And here's what I noticed. Now, I went a little bit above and beyond with this challenge. Though I haven't been commenting in my comment section, I see quite a few people have been joining me along in this challenge. It's something I noticed a while ago whenever I was doing any of my challenges. People started saying, hey, that sounds like a pretty good challenge. I'm going to do that. And I usually keep my challenges anywhere between a month to 3 months. And if I really enjoy it, I'll keep it up. And it's no longer a challenge. It's just part of a daily lifestyle. But it's something that I wanted to do, this squat challenge. And I think it's pretty cool that people joined along because it's all around good. But I one-upped it. I didn't want to tell anyone much about this because I didn't want people to go through above and beyond what the squat challenge offered, because I thought I might need a little bit more to get my ridiculously high fasting insulin down. And I didn't want people who were going through this just because to have any possible side effects, which I had. I've done lots of exercising through the years. I have a strong weightlifting background. As a registered massage therapist, I have a lot of training in that discipline, and I know how to work the muscles and stretch the muscles in every particular way you need to get to those little areas that might need to be activated to help in a physical way. The interesting thing is, typically what happens is you start doing a workout. Keep in mind, I did nothing for 2 months but sit. So sit and sleep, lie down and sleep, lie down and sleep, sit and sleep. So just getting into doing anything can be difficult on the body, but typically you only go through that for the first week or two. And then your body, at least my body, would always adjust, and I would just feel strength from there. Maybe a day or two of muscular weakness in, say, my legs from doing a lot of squats in this situation, or just a regular squatting routine or a regular leg workout. But what I noticed this time around is my legs were always weak and tired. I could do my squat challenge, no problem. I could walk around, no problem. But as soon as I had a flight of stairs, I was walking up a flight of stairs or going down a flight of stairs like an old man. And it wasn't that the muscles were exhausted. It wasn't that the muscles had, they were really sore. That soreness went away within the first 2 or 3 days after my first day of doing squats. It's normal. You pick up an exercise routine, you're going to be sore for a couple days. But I have this exhaustion in my legs, and I just couldn't figure it out. I was like, man, I'm moving like an old man. It almost feels like you're not even eating carnivore. The reason why I eat carnivore is, one, I have a sugar and carbohydrate addiction really bad. So when I go off a carnivore diet, I'd fly off a carnivore diet. I wouldn't just, go off for like an hour or a day or a week or a meal. I'd just binge on whatever it was that I was allowed to have. So I don't go off a carnivore diet at all. I'm very strict. The other reason is I feel so good doing a carnivore diet. I literally feel like I'm in my 30s, and I was overweight in my 30s, but I didn't have good energy. And now I'm pushing 50 and my energy is great. So the weird thing though is not having the strength to do some basic things in life, because I know that feeling. I know the feeling I was going through, and it was a lack of glycogen in the muscles. I've had that happen before from working out. You get to the point where you just can't do anything else. The glycogen is used up, and that's your immediate fuel source when it comes to lifting. And it's harder for the body to start accessing fat, because when your body accesses fat, it takes a lot more time to break down fat. So it wants to go through the blood sugar, the glycogen. And when you do an intense workout, say a regular 45-minute workout with weights at the gym and a nice efficient workout, your blood sugar is going to be all over the map for like a while, hours to maybe a day afterwards. And if I'm on a carnivore diet and I have a blood glucose monitor on, one of those 24-hour ones you put in your arm, my blood sugar will go out of range and it'll be all over the map, because that's what happens when you exercise. But this routine isn't designed to do that. It's designed to just take that sugar out of the blood. Take more sugar out of the blood. Every 45 minutes, take more. Utilize that blood sugar, and your insulin, if it's really high, should start going down, because your insulin's really high because it's obviously keeping that blood sugar under control. And for some reason, whatever the reason, there's just too much insulin. So you're taking the pressure off of that insulin. So it's almost like doing metformin in a way, or berberine. But it's that extra little thing you might need throughout the day, that extra little bit of activity that isn't enough to strain you. It's enough to just keep you active, because 45 minutes rolls around fast. Anyone who did this challenge knows that 45 minutes rolls around fast. For the month of August, at least, I'm going to have to modify it, because some of my massages are an hour long. I'm a registered massage therapist. I just started back to work a couple days ago, and it's nice to finally be doing something after 3 months off of work. So typically when you have this exhaustion in the muscle, I find it means you need to eat more. And all month I was honestly just being like, why are my legs so weak? They were fine when I was doing the exercises. I have to admit the first set was a little slower in the morning, and then set by set after that was just super easy. And you just kind of like drop down really fast, and you do your squats as fast or as slow as you want. And I think a lot of that's just age. Though carnivore takes away a lot of that stiffness, there's still a little bit of it. But honestly, for some reason, 2 things didn't dawn on me till the end of the month. 1, I needed to get a massage. My legs were just tired and they were tight. They weren't really tight. It was like they were weak. They ached. And it wasn't a painful ache. It was just they didn't feel right. And it felt like there was no fuel. It felt like they were stagnant. And I used a machine on my leg called a thumper, and I was like, oh, that feels good. And my legs felt perfect for the first time in a month. And I thought, why the heck didn't I do that earlier? And bad on me. I'm a massage therapist. I should have recognized that way sooner. But maybe being a sloth for 2 months while I was healing from my heart surgery maybe just disconnected me enough from reality that I just wasn't recognizing that for what it was. 2, it also could have been maybe I just needed a heck of a lot more protein because the muscles would have atrophied from literally doing almost nothing for 2 months. I mean, I couldn't even bend my leg for the first month when I was healing, not fully. I could bend it, but not fully. It felt like an overpacked sausage because there was all that scar tissue and a big wound down my leg. So like I said, I did that for a month, but there's something I did above and beyond. And it's just that workout mentality. But I knew I needed to do more squats because my fasting insulin was so ridiculously high for such a long time. So every week I added a squat into my round of 10. Week 2, I did 11. Week 3, I did 12. The next week 14, and I got up to 15. And you know what? I'm keeping it at 15 because my legs were just tired. They were just tired when it came to doing steps. I was moving like an old man and I didn't like that. So I'm going to let my body adapt to this for a while. I think because of the degree of my insulin resistance, I wanted to just do that little bit more. So some people were probably doing 10 all through the month, and maybe you're feeling good because you're just typically more active than I was for that 2 months. But back to what I'm going to do and modify my carnivore diet for the next month. So for the month of August and probably September is I'm going to do 2 lean days a week. Now that's not like a calorie restriction I'm throwing in there. I am going to just make sure I have a lot of chicken and maybe some shrimp, some seafood, and I'm just going to eat till I'm satiated. Simple as that. And I'm just going to make sure I'm having a couple lean days a week. If I do too many lean days, I get a bit of a brain fog and I don't feel good from the lack of fat. So I'm going to separate these 2 lean days, maybe about 3 days apart, and it probably won't even affect me at all. And I just want to see how my body reacts to that. So sometimes you have to do these things for maybe at least 3 months before you notice a big difference. But between the squat challenge and some lean days, I think that's hopefully going to be a good combination to just keep on trimming down. I'm not going to have any skin on my chicken. It's just going to be chicken. That's it. On the days I am getting fat, I'm going to make sure to get some healthy fats in there, some cod liver oil, because I don't want the symptoms of, because I have hypothyroidism, I notice it when I'm not getting any healthy fats in my diet. My skin dries out. It gets actually really itchy if I do a long enough period of time without cod liver oil or a good fish oil. My hair gets really dry and it gets really hard, more like horse's hair. So that's the plan. So I'm going to stick at 15 squats per set for 45 minutes, 8.5 hours throughout the day. And like I said, I'm going to have to modify it a little bit because of my work, but it's going to be relatively manageable to do because I'm not working 12-hour days. So for example, today I'm working from about 9:30 till almost 4. So I've already started my squat challenge and I've been keeping to that 45-minute schedule. I'm just going to have to adapt it so I'm doing the same amount of squats throughout the day. I'm just going to have to kind of space it out a little bit because all my appointments are hour-long appointments today. So anyway, let me know how you're doing with your squat challenge if you're doing it, or even if you heard this and you want to keep it up. Touch base in the comments. Let me know. Cheers.